Good evening everyone. I am Vivek from CSCE with a group of 23E16, and here we are going to explain about the sorting algorithm. In sorting algorithm we have different types of sorts, and here we have created a website where we can know about the sorted array, and we can know some topic about the bubble sort, insertion sort, and selection sort, counting sort. And if you click at the bubble sort, then we can get about the information, and if you click at the insertion sort or counting sort, we can get about the information. If you want the sorted array down, and if you enter the elements 1 5 3 7 and 2, then if you click up the sort or bubble, now we get the sorted array of the bubble sorter. And now we can even change the bubble sort or insertion sort or counting sort. Now we have got the output of sorted array of insertion sort. We know that the counting sort take the repeated elements, so I have given the information of 7, and we got the sorted array of double sort. Elements using bubble sort technique. We know that bubble sort takes the values, both side values. I know that bubble sort takes the two values. If you given the two values, then the bubble sort sees the two values and shifts the lower value to the front side, and shifts the bigger value to the next side. This is what happens in the bubble sort algorithm, and the bubble sort is a simple sorting algorithm that works by correspondingly stepping through the list. And we have given the entire elements 1 8 3 5 just for an example, and we get the sorted array 1 3 5 8, because smaller one comes front and bigger ones goes to the back side. Like that it happens at 1 8 3 5, and 1 comes first, and 3, and again 5, and again 8. This is what happens in the bubble sort. Now when we look at the insertion sort is a simple and initiative sorting algorithm that builds a sorted array or list. Now if you look at the insertion sort of the elements, we have given 9 1 and 8 4 like in our example, and if you take the sorting, then it gets 1 3 7 9, because it takes the two values and compares the both values. If it is a big value, then it goes next to the element, and if the smaller value comes first of the element, like that. If you go to the counting sort is a good sorting techniques, because we can use it for number values and for some number. Counting sort is a non-compliance based sorting algorithm for the particularly effective for sorting integers or objects that can be mapped to integers. And if you give the values like 16639, then it gives the value of 13669, because counting sort take the repeated values. That's why here we got the value of 1. This is of the sorting algorithm, and this is what happens in the sorting techniques. And thank you for seeing the video.
I'm Swati. I'm going to explain bubble sort. Let's define bubble sort. Bubble sort is a simple sorting algorithm. This sorting algorithm is comparison based algorithm in which each pair of adjacent element is compared and the elements are swapped if they are not in order. Best case time complexity of bubble sort is order of n. Average is order of n square. Let us assume n elements. Take an array if the first element in the input array is greater than the next element. If it is greater, swap the two elements, otherwise move the pointer forward into the array. Repeat the process until we reach the end of the array. Let's begin into the program. Here function name is bubble sort, constant n equals to array.length. Let's take n for loop. I equals to 0, I less than n minus 1, I plus plus. It means if you are going to start I from 0, then I less than n minus 1 and increment I value. From this inner loop, j equals to 0, j less than n minus 1 minus I, j plus plus. It means j less than n minus 1 minus I is the unnecessary comparisons can be avoided. If array of j greater than array of j plus 1, it checks the name of array is j greater than j plus 1. Array of j plus 1 equals to array of j plus 1 array of j. The final output achieved is the sorted array. Next part will be continued by my teammate. Myself Soumyasri. Here I will explain about counting sort technique. Counting sort technique is way different from other sorting techniques. It doesn't compare elements. If the array contains the values which are repeating frequently and we need to sort them, this is the best sorting technique we use. If there are no repeated values in the array, it just work as normal as sorting technique. Now let's break down the code. First we have a function called sort counting sort, which we will have an array named arr. For this array we need to find max value. This is the important step because counting sort need to know the range of values in the array to create counting array to cover all possible values. The size of this count array would be the max plus 1 and filled with 0. It means initially all values will be 0. Next the for loop will go through the input array named as arr. For each element in the array are incremented with corresponding index with the count array. For example, if we have num is equal to 3, then the count of 3 is incremented by 1. It means after this loop, count array will store how many items the value appears in the array. Next, we have another array to store all these sorted elements. In this, we have used for loop. The for loop iterates over the count array. Count of I is, if the count of I is greater than 0, it means value I exists in input value. Next, we have the inner loop while. While loop runs count of I times adding I to the output array, and count of I will decrement each time. We'll just check the condition here, and if the condition is true, we'll just push that value into the output array and we'll decrement the count value. And then we'll just return to the output value, which means it is the final array which will give the sorted elements. The next part of this code will be explained by my teammate. I'm Srijana. I'm gonna explain insertion sort algorithm. Insertion sort is a simple and efficient sorting algorithm that builds a sorted array of an element at a time. It works by repeatedly taking an element from the unsorted portion and inserting it into the correct position in the sorted array. Here is the procedure. Sorting starts from the second element index 1 of the array and compares the current element with the left elements which are sorted. Shift all the larger elements in the sorted portion to the right side to make space for the current element. Insert the current element into the correct position. Repeat the process until the entire array is sorted. Insertion sort is frequently used to arrange the small list. It is simple and easy to implement and as well as understand. But the drawback of this sorting technique is it consumes a lot of the time. Time complexity. Best case of the insertion sort is order of n. It is a condition when the array is already sorted. Average and worst case of insertion sort is order of n square. Here is a program. Let us take a function named insertion sort of an array. Take a for loop and let us initialize I equals to 1. I should be less than the array.length and increment the I value, and next assign let key equals to array of I, j equals to I minus 1, and take the while loop. While loop is used to execute a block of code until the condition becomes false. Here we are taken two conditions. First one is j is less than or equals to 0. Logical and array of j should be greater than the key value. Now let us assign array of j plus 1 equals to array of j and decrement the j value. Array of j plus 1 equals to key. Return array. This is the end of the program. We hope you got an idea about these sorting techniques. It would be great if this content is useful to gain some knowledge about these sorting techniques.